that he liked James Gunn's Superman, which opened to $125 million and finished with $618 million worldwide. But the Supergirl footage shown at CinemaCon did not win him over. So Superman did 618. Yeah, that's a bit lower. I know I said 600, 650. I was expecting it to be closer to the 700 mark, but it's actually 618. Yeah, so if we're being honest and realistic, Superman bringing in $618 million means that it made nothing, basically. It made very little, It made very little. It would have had a budget of about 200 million. Double that on marketing. Basically made no money. Essentially. I was open to it. I enjoyed the Superman movie last summer. It got to 618 worldwide and opened to 125, but the footage they showed at CinemaCon, not great. Seems like lesser and kind of a, IP milking. So I am dropping this to a 2. That is not exactly a glowing endorsement for the next DCU movie after Superman. No, it's not, to be honest. It's not. Scott Mendelsohn is a little more optimistic. Scott Mendelsohn was not as down on Supergirl as Baloney, but he also did not sound blown away. Mendelsohn gave the movie a 5 out of 13. I'm not that much more confident in that it's a 5, Mendelsohn said. The only reason I'm slightly, and again, I was not thrilled about the footage at CinemaCon. He said the movie looked expensive enough, but the footage did not have much breathing room. The production value was there. It just felt very chaotic and busy in a way that just let them breathe, Mendelsohn said. Baloney then jumped in with lame. Mendelsohn agreed. Baloney added, but nothing cool about it. I mean, this doesn't surprise me, to be honest. I just was expecting it to go down like this. I'm sure many of you aren't too surprised about all this either. I mean, I don't feel like Superman, James Gunn's Superman, was particularly impressive. I don't think it moved the needle for DC. Obviously, I'm going to give Supergirl a chance. I think her name's Millie Alcott, I believe, is the actress's name. I don't know what else she's in. I've not seen her in anything else, so I'm going to give her a chance, I mean, this might be a surprise smash hit. It might make $1 billion out of nowhere, and, she might be a incredible Supergirl. Oh, who knows about any of that? So obviously, yeah. We should give her a chance in her role as Supergirl, but from a financial standpoint for DC, it's not looking great. It's not looking optimal, if we're being honest and realistic here. Mendelsohn also addressed the budget and pushed back against the idea that Supergirl is some ultra-cheap DC movie. I know this is cheaper than Superman. I was assured that it was not like a Daredevil to Elektra come down in terms of budget. That lines up with what our insiders told us at WonderCon. There had been speculation that Supergirl might only cost around $100 million, which would make a $300 million to $350 million worldwide finish less damaging, but Mendelssohn's comments suggest the budget is not that low. I would be very, very surprised if the budget is only 100 million, especially, you know, in this climate, in this day and age, as they say. I would be extremely surprised if they've only spent $100 million on this movie, because these studios, DC, Marvel, Star Wars, the top studios notoriously overspend where they don't really need to, you know. You would be surprised how much money they actually spend. But the budgets for these things are always way higher than you would think they are, or they even should be. So I'd be surprised if it is only 100 million. If Supergirl is closer to 150 million or 200 million, the math changes fast. At 150 million, the movie would likely need around $375 million worldwide to break even. At 200 million, it would likely need around 500 million. That means Bologna's 300 to 350 million estimate would not be enough. No, I mean, I think it will. I think it's going to do less than Superman. I think it is. I don't think it's going to do more than Superman, and I don't think it's going to do just as much. I think it is going to do less. Because, one, Supergirl is not as big of a character or a cash cow or a draw as Superman. There's not a lot of hype for this film, if we're being honest. Not a lot of people know this is happening. And for a lot of people, I think Superman has sort of killed the hype for this. Superman has killed the hype for Supergirl and sort of this universe in general, James Gunn's universe in general. A lot of people weren't won over by James Gunn's Superman, you know. A lot of people aren't invested in this cinematic universe, in James Gunn's cinematic universe, you know. The hosts also discussed how Warner Brothers and DC Studios are expected to market the movie. They're going to sell this as, you know, female-driven superhero meets John Wick, Mendelssohn said. Alcock previously revealed Crypto is not a real dog but CGI, which drew laughs from the host. That's true. That is true, that's a good point. Crypto is CGI. For all the people wondering if it was a real dog or not. I know some people were wondering, is Crypto real dog, CGI? And we've had that confirmed from Alcock, so that's good to know. Box office expectations sound muted. The big question is how much Supergirl can make. Mendelssohn said that if Supergirl is well received and well reviewed, 500 million worldwide would be a win. Yeah, it would. If they spend less than 200 million. If we're under 200 million with this movie, then making 500 million, which is $118 million less than what Superman made last year, then yeah, that's a win. We're in the green. We're in the win category. If it does 500, everyone should be happy, because again, this isn't the 2010s where a studio lives or dies of the superhero franchises. Bologna, however, sees the ceiling much lower. I think we're looking more like 300, 350 for this one, which I think is a, you know, half of Superman. Not great. No, I mean, the success of this movie, from DC's standpoint, from a financial standpoint, depends on how much they spend to get this thing out. If they overspend, which is likely because all of these studios always do overspend where they don't need to, then it's likely going to be a flop. I mean, if they end up spending 250 million on this movie, very likely it's going to be a flop because it's not going to do as well or better than Superman. It's going to do less than Superman. It's going to do less than Superman, which means you cannot spend 250 million on this movie. I mean, if that $100 million budget is accurate, if that's an accurate number, then they could get away with making 375, 400, 500 million. They could get away with a finish like that. But if they spend 200, 250, if they spend what they spent on Superman, this is going to be a flop for DC. But if that $100 million budget is accurate, then they could get away with 375, 400, $500 million box office. They could get away with that. So, yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see on that one. So, yeah, that's all I wanted to cover. So, yeah, see you later.